The following is a presentation of RMG Sports, award-winning championship television.
Race fans, get ready for Chase to the Checkered. This week, it's C2C's special coverage of the USAR Hooters Pro Cup's Jackaroo Sauces 250, presented by Coca Cola. We've also got all the highlights from the Blue Cheese Dressings 50 in the Naturally Fresh Late Model Challenge Series. So get limbered up. This is where the rubber hits the road. Chase to the Checkered starts now.
Hi, I'm Melissa Klein from Johnstown, Pennsylvania, and race fans, start your engines!
Race fans, welcome back to C2C's special coverage of the USAR Hooters Pro Cup Jackaroo Sauces 250, presented by Coca Cola. As race fans were let onto the track at Jennerstown Speedway for photos and autographs, the C2C crew made it around to get comments from some of the drivers who qualified in a very competitive field. Here's a familiar face, Marty Lindley. He drove the number 01 Hooters car to a second place finish in June at Jennerstown. He was starting in 7th position today.
Thought we had a shot to win the race last time and kind of got a bad call, I think, but we really worked on the race car. I think we got a lot better race car here this time, so if we can just stay out of trouble and run the laps, we're going to be pretty tough at the end, I believe. You know, the 5 car, Bobby Gill's here. He's won almost every one of the races this year, so he's going to be awful tough. He's definitely going to step the competition up a little bit, so we brought a new car here and definitely knew we was going to have to step it up, be better than we were the last time here to have a chance to win, so just hope we got it adjusted enough where we can do that.
On the outside of row 6, we find the USAR Southern Division points leader, number 5S, Bobby Gill.
I think we got a pretty good chance. That car was good in practice today, so our qualifying ain't ever been good, but we're here to race, not to qualify, so we'll see what happens. Today in practice, we was pretty good on old tires, and all these guys, they put on new tires to see how fast they go, and we didn't do that, so we worked on our race setup, so I think we'll be all right.
Right beside him, on the inside of row 4, is another familiar face, Jeff Agnew. He drove the number 73 NGA Hooters Golf Tour Chevy to victory lane at Jennerstown in June. But he had Marty Lindley's number 01 starting right behind him.
Well, that's a good place to keep him. You know, we got him behind us there the last part of the last race, and we was able to hold him off and win the race. So anytime they're behind you, it's the best place they can be. Seems like every time we come back here with something different. This is a different car than what we run down here the last race, so we'll see what she does.
Here's Jennerstown Speedway veteran Jeff Dunmeyer in the number 07 Black Specialty Service GS Product Chevy. The Frieden's driver would start 27th in the field. He felt that he had a good setup for the hot track.
Track's a little hotter now, a little more summer on it, a little more sun and heat, so it's a little hotter, so looser cars will get loose a little quicker, so ours is a little tight. Hopefully it'll stay with us.
Here's another local driver, number 85, Robbie Marhefka. The Wimber driver was starting a row behind Dunmeyer, but he knew that it would be a tough fight to move up front.
We're probably going to end up having an early pit stop. Try to work on the car a little bit, get it a little bit faster. Hopefully there's an early caution that will allow us to do that. Brought the exact same setup that we qualified 9th with, the last time we were here, and man, we were slower, and then there's some of the South guys that came up to the race this time. They were a lot quicker. So
now let's move to the front row. On the outside, we find another Jennerstown veteran, Hagerstown, Maryland's Eric Corbett. The number 75 Larry & Sons Carrier F&M Bank Ford Taurus was starting second.
We didn't really think we had that quick of car. We made a couple shock changes and this and that, and for some crazy reason it puts us on the outside pole, so we're not complaining, of course. I was just hoping for a top 10, 6, 8, something like that, But outside pole, I'm ecstatic. The car was really turning well.
And finally, on the pole, we find the rookie Brian Ross. In June, he drove the Homes by Prairie Pointer Drywall Ford Taurus to a third-place finish. Ross is the Northern Division points leader.
Really love the series. We've been having a really good time doing it, and we're a little surprised at how well we've done this year. We was playing, just hoping to run in the top 5 and everything, but the wins have been coming, and we've had a few poles here and there, and led a lot of laps. So we've just been having a ball doing it.
Before we get things going, here's how the rest of the field shaped up after qualifying. Row 2 held another Southern Division driver, Clay Rogers, next to Durham, North Carolina's Jay Fogelman. Shane Huffman is another Southern Division driver. The number 68S Fused Ford Taurus was on the outside of row 4. Rookie Scott Baker started on the outside of row 5. Charlie Ford finished 5th in the last Pro Cup race at Jennerstown. He would start in the 13th position. Mario Goslin, the 1997 USAR Pro Cup champ, qualified the JVC Chevy in the 16th position. Jennerstown veterans Glenn Galt, Jeff Dunmeyer, and Robbie Marhefka qualified in the top 30. Roger Blackstock, Justin Ely, Myron Haight, and Grant Andrews Jr. were awarded the 4 provisional positions at the end of the pack. The field is set. We'll have the opening ceremonies, followed by green to checkered coverage of the Jackaroo Sauces 250, presented by Coca Cola, when we return to Chase to the Checkered right after this. Welcome back, race fans, to C2C's special coverage of the USAR Hooters Pro Cup's Jackaroo Sauces 250, presented by Coca Cola. To get things started, Jennerstown Speedway was proud to welcome the Somerset 9. The 9 rescued miners from the Q Creek Mine to give the most famous words in all of motorsports.
Gentlemen, start your engines!
The race started poorly for Brian Ross. He would be forced to give up the pole position since his spotter didn't make it to the spotters meeting. So the number 42 went to the back of the pack. Minutes later, the Brooks Automotive Group pace car dropped into the pits, and the field came around to start the Jackaroo Sauces 250, presented by Coca Cola. The new pole sitter, number 29S, Clay Rogers, and number 75, Eric Corbett, took off with the lead. A few laps into the race, the number 29S had amassed a huge lead over the rest of the pack. But it was very early in the race. On lap 6, Jeff Dunmeyer would ride the wall through turns 1 and 2, bringing out the caution and erasing Rogers' big lead. The Freedom's driver was okay, but his race was over early. On the restart, number 29S again shot out with the lead, with number 73 Jeff Agnew and number 75 Eric Corbett right behind. With clean air and no traffic ahead of him, Rogers was able to rebuild his lead. 10 laps later, the caution would fly again. Number 84 Matt Parsons and Wimber's Robbie Marhefka in the 85 were in the inside retaining wall in the front stretch. Robbie was okay, but he gave some advice to his fellow rookie on the way down pit road. On the restart, Rogers again held the lead, with Agnew and Corbett right behind. On lap 40, they would slow again as Todd Peck and the number 40 Thomas Chevrolet Monte Carlo go sideways out of turn 2. After the restart, number 01 Marty Lindley makes it past Corbett for third on lap 63. 10 laps later, the leaders came into lap traffic. A spin in turns 3 and 4 almost collected the leaders. We jump ahead after the restart to lap 106 to catch a charging Marty Lindley in the number 01. Here he goes low to get by Jeff Agnew and capture second. 8 laps later, lap traffic would again cause havoc with the leader. Here Rogers almost gets sideways. This was the opportunity Lindley needed. On lap 119, Lindley tried the bump and run out of turn 2. Rogers held on, but Lindley got under and by for the lead. The 01 would hold the lead for 5 laps, but debris from number 7, Alan Perkaiser, that was on the front stretch, brought out the caution on lap 125. This was also the halfway point, and everyone was ready to pit. In the pits, Lindley gets pinned in his box, and number 11, Scott Baker, sneaks out with the lead. On the restart, we see the 2 Southern drivers, number 5S, Bobby Gill, and number 29S, Clay Rogers, with number 42, Brian Ross, swarming behind the leader. As they came around, Ross and Rogers were door to door. Ross would come out with the 3rd place spot. 2 laps later, on lap 135, the Southern and Northern Division points leaders swoop by the number 11 and knock him out of the lead. Number 5S, Bobby Gill, stretched his lead out, but number 15, Jeff Oakley, and number 5, Chad Bear, were sitting in turn 2, bringing out the caution and bunching up the pack. On the restart on lap 170, number 42, Brian Ross, heads low and takes the lead from Gill. Ross would lead for 5 laps, but Gill would retake the lead. 3 laps later, Lindley gets alongside of Ross and passes him for the 2nd slot. Lap traffic helped the 01 get to within a few car lengths of the leader, number 5S. Then, on lap 206, number 27, Kyle Shoemaker, blew the right front tire, giving the crowd a brief sparkler show. The caution didn't come out for this, but it would for this. On lap 223, number 12, Dale Evanson, spun in turn 4, kicking up a lot of smoke and slowing the pack under caution. After an incident with number 38, Justin Ely, and a separate incident involving number 11, Scott Baker, a few laps later, the field was set for a single-file shootout for the Checkered. Lindley would get up on Gill's bumper, but Bobby Gill would go on to win the Jackaroo Sauces 250 at Jennerstown Speedway.
The car was pretty good right there at the end. The track started tearing up off the 2 and asphalt all over the place. If you didn't hit it just right, you'd get loose on it right there. I mean, the setup we got was pretty good. We just need to go fine tune on because it was good, but it was still lacking something.
Gill was followed by number 01, Marty Lindley, number 29S, Clay Rogers, number 75, Eric Corbett, and number 4, Jay Fogelman in the top 5.
A little track position not cost us a win. He kind of blocked me in the pits there and got out in front of me. And, you know, when you got cars as equals, them 2 cars tonight, track positions means everything.
I tell you, it was wild. This is a fast racetrack with a lot of grooves. The more grooves there are, I was side by side, 3 wide with lap traffic several times. You can't give up, and you can't, but you don't want to take that risk.
It was definitely a little interesting. Crazy is pretty good terminology. The car was working really good. We had it turn a little too well, and we were getting a little bit loose. So in the beginning laps, we kind of just were trying to hold our own. Made a couple changes, came in, took 2, and then tweaked on it a little bit more and got the car turning well.
Need to bring my car back exactly like it was with a completely different shock package, and we're going to be really in good shape. We had the cars fast on cold tires, and then once we got in a run where the shocks really came into effect as far as wear on the tires and weight transfer, we just missed a little bit. But we tried something completely different coming here for the reason to either get better or worse. And we know where the bad side is now, so we're going 180 other directions. So we'll be in good shape.
Northern Division points leader Brian Ross finished 6th after starting dead last. Jeff Agnew, the winner of the last USAR feature at Jennerstown, finished 7th. Mario Gosselin brought the JBC Chevrolet into the 8th position. Rookie Alan Perkeiser finished 9th, and Danny Salmons rounds out the top 10 finishers in the USAR Hooters Pro Cup Jackaroo Sauces 250, presented by Coca Cola. Glenn Galt finished 14th, while Robbie Marhefka and Jeff Dunmeyer finished at the end of the list in 35th and 36th position. The USAR Hooters Pro Cup returns to Jennerstown Speedway on October 5th for the second of 4 races in the USAR Championship Series. Coming up on Chase to the Checkered, we've still got the highlights from Race 3 in the Naturally Fresh Late Model Challenge. That's next on Chase to the Checkered. Welcome back to Chase to the Checkered. It's been 3 weeks since we've seen the drivers in the NASCAR Weekly Racing Series at Jennerstown. Let's get caught up with the points. In the Sen West Street Stocks, George Nicola Jr. is your points leader, with Adam Kostelnik, Dink Colarusso, Johnny Jones, and Richard Nicola in the top 5. In the 96.5 Mountain Chargers, Curtis Stewart Jr. is ahead of the second place Phil Grubbs. Justin Lasky, Travis Smith, and Chuck Slate round out the top 5 in points. The Tommy Gale Hallmark Trailers Pro Trucks division has Marion Reno Jr. on top in the points, with Todd Price, Dave Brunel, Josh Kokenauer, and Dave Marrow in the top 5. The Cover Insurance Agency PA Legacies have the familiar face of Joey Denowitz on top. The rest of the top 5 consists of Chris Brink, Brett Boyer, Kyle Martell, and Dave Campbell. And in the Wheeler Brothers AC Delco late models, Neil Brown continues to lead the pack. Barry Audi, Mark Catone, Mark Smith, and Bobby Henry round out the top 5. And speaking of the late models, here are the highlights from the Blue Cheese Dressings 50, the third of 5 races in the Naturally Fresh Foods Late Model Challenge Series. This race was also a Spectator 500 race, and since no one won the prize in the last race, the lucky winning fan would walk home with $1,000. The Brooks Automotive Group pace car slipped into the pits. The green fell, and the Blue Cheese Dressings 50 was underway. Number 98, Neil Brown, and number 75, Barry Audi, were door-to-door for the first lap. An anxious Rick Miller in the number 25 bumps Brown, allowing Audi to shoot out with the lead. A few laps later, Mark Smith had worked his way up into Audi's rearview mirror. Soon, number 94 would get a great run out of 2 and shoot by Audi for the lead. Here on lap 14, Neil Brown got the silver bullet next to Audi and would pass him for second. As we approached the midway point of the race, Brown was right on Smith's bumper. When they came into lap traffic on lap 27, Smith went low and Brown went high around number 14, Kerry Tadero, making it 3 wide into turn 3. The leader would spin in the traffic. As Brown led on the restart, number 11, Bobby Henry, got alongside of number 75, Barry Audi, and passed him for second. Number 31, Mark Catone, and number 25, Rick Miller, drove side by side for several laps, but Catone would pull ahead for 4th. But no one could catch the number 98, and Neil Brown went on to win the Blue Cheese Dressings 50.
It would have been a good race between me and Mark. It's a shame lap traffic got in there and changed the outcome of it a little bit, but I guess that's racing.
Spotter come on the radio, said the leaders are on both sides. Yet I looked in the mirror and I didn't see either one of them, so I just held my line and they went past on each side. You know, I didn't try to mess anybody up, but you know, Mark went in a little hard and low and couldn't cut it. So
And I don't know what happened down here coming out too. It just got all congested. I made a dive for it, and I just don't think it's stock. And that's all part of racing. You have to take those chances to get out front, and that's what we did.
Brown wasn't the only winner. Homer City's Charles Peace won $1,000 in the Spectator 500. Neil Brown was followed by Bobby Henry, who drove with some special artwork on his hood.
Yeah, we have the 9 for 9 in honor of the coal miners from last Saturday. We had each one of them sign it. It's a real neat deal. We're going to take this home and put another hood on and keep this one. That's a really special deal for us.
Barry Audi, Mark Catone, and Latrobe Snooky Williams round out the top 5 finishers. Mark Smith recovered from the mid-race spin to finish 7th behind Rick Miller. Jamie Bolkovac, Logan Dernoshek, and Brad Creighton make up the top 10 finishers in the Blue Cheese Dressings 50. In the points, Mark Catone is still on top, but Barry Audi has climbed his way to within 10 points of the lead. Neil Brown, Mark Smith, and Bobby Henry round out the top 5 in points in the Naturally Fresh Late Model Challenge Series. Coming up at Jennerstown Speedway. Next weekend, Somerset Hospital presents Fan Appreciation Night. We'll have 5 division racing featuring twin 50-lap late model features. Admission is just $5. Load up the car and bring the whole family to Jennerstown Speedway. I'm Bubba Connor from 96.5 The Mountain. Thanks for watching Chase to the Checkered. We'll see you next week with all the action. Don't miss a second.